Hi, my name's Alicia Greenfield. I worked with Royal Roads and the Stream Keepers to develop a workshop for Royal Roads alumni, where instead of just getting together and talking, we actually began to work on a real problem together. The Stream Keepers have fabulous problems. Streams are places where land and water, plants, animals, and people, as well as our past understanding of streams, the environment, and the ethical issues involved, and the current knowledge about streams collide. It's a fascinating and interesting set of issues, further complicated by many of their issues having no right answer, but only a choice between wrongs. For example, a big dead tree along a green space is a fabulous habitat. However, it's also a hazard to the people walking in the green space. You are only choosing between one wrong or another. So we agreed to work with Stream Keepers to create this creative problem-solving workshop and started meeting with Stream Keepers. I went to their AGM, I talked to their volunteers, I went to some events, and what I discovered is that the Stream Keepers are fabulous at making the science of a healthy stream environment accessible to average people. Their Stream Keepers handbook, the fish counting events, it's very easy to get involved. They also have an incredible strong volunteer base, and their volunteers are fun, social, and engaged. Finally, the Stream Keepers have great networks, not only social networks, but also with government, non-government organizations that are working on North Shore streams. They have some limitations. They have no staff and a budget of under $5,000, and they're looking to keep it that way. When I first met with Stream Keepers, one of the first things they said was they wanted to better reach average citizens, that they were missing that component in what they did right now. What we also found was an incredible level of frustration. Stream Keepers' incredible information has created a set of pretty good laws and policies about our stream regulation right now. However, currently those laws and policies are not being enforced or are being a little bit ignored. So when we talked to Stream Keepers, they said they'd like to, right now, start talking to the average citizen better. So we developed a vision. Wouldn't it be nice if doing the right thing made me smile? And developed a problem statement. How might Stream Keepers better engage average citizen to environmental compliance that was easy and joyful? Our next step in the creative problem-solving system is looking at the gap between that vision and where we are now. We had extensive discussions about those gaps. We talked about the lack of information. We talked about misinformation. We talked about moral exhaustion. However, we felt there was an underlying theme of issues around control. You get home at the end of a day to your private property and don't want more people telling me what to do. This is my property and you can't make me, was an underlying theme to many of our issues. So we needed, at this point, more information. First, we needed to tighten our problem statement. Environmental compliance, as you might imagine, is very big. Using the Stream Keepers' long experience in the area, we decided to focus on green waste dumping. The issue with green waste dumping is not only that it smothers native species, it introduces invasive species, it's destruction of public property, it's also a really easy in to some of the fabulous programs provided by the regional district and municipal governments of this area. So we tightened that problem statement. How might Stream Keepers better communicate with average people to make compliance easy around green waste dumping? We still needed additional information. Who was the average citizen? So please meet Average Jenny. Average Jenny's a compilation of statistical research and interviews in this area. She's 44, she's married with 2 kids, 6 and 12. She works in healthcare and she commutes to work. She and her husband have an income of about $80,000 after tax. But for every $1,000 of after-tax income that Jenny and her husband make, they owe $1,500. Jenny and her husband bought this house on a green space, hoping that they would get a little bit more active. Jenny's a little overweight. She thought she would grow her own food. She thought she would go for walks in the green space. However, as you can imagine, with her commute, her working, she does child care and housework. She doesn't actually have enough time to do the job properly and doesn't really know what she's doing. She wishes her husband would do it. Unfortunately, her husband commutes even further to work and does all the care maintenance on both cars, and he wishes she would do it too. Both of them, at the end of the day, just want to sit down, have something to drink, and watch TV. So, why would Jenny dump her green waste? Jenny dumps her green waste, number one, because it's easy. Her fence has a gate in it, and just on the other side of that fence, there is a pile of green waste from the prior owner. When she looks down her fence, she sees the whole fence line. Neighbor after neighbor are dumping their green waste. Jenny knows that all of the green waste is biodegradable. And so Jenny believes she's composting. Looking at our problem statement, how might stream keepers better communicate with average Jenny to stop her from dumping green waste? Zoanne, Karen, and myself brainstormed straight ideas. One of the observations from the brainstorming was that the ideas came out very richly, fully formed. However, for the Royal Roads workshop, we wanted 4 ideas that would need a little bit of work. So, for consideration, we presented 4 ideas. First, flash dance mob. Imagine a North Shore soccer tournament and all of the stream keepers, many of whom are in the over 50-60 set, doing a flash dance mob to raise awareness that green waste dumping is an issue. The second idea is a jokey poster using rats as a mascot to explain why green waste dumping doesn't work. We imagined the posters going viral as these really cute but kind of disturbing rats told you the actual impact of green waste dumping. The third idea was the idea of a game, maybe on your mobile phone. Maybe the garbage recycling schedule became a board game, maybe a big board game in a school gym. The idea was to create bite-sized pieces of information and encourage you to take one little step and action towards environmental compliance that could be a little bit fun. And finally, the fourth idea we presented was the idea of a reward. Maybe we could convince sponsors to give $1 off a coffee. Maybe we could present people who brought their green waste dumping to the curb with a bag of compost comparable to what they were bringing to the curb. Either way, that idea was great because it could really target those people living on the green spaces and hopefully help them understand the importance of stopping green waste dumping. Not a part of any specific piece of the creative problem-solving system, but very important were the number of insights that we developed through going through this process. First, spring and fall cleanup are a big place where stream keepers could, if they could convince people to start doing the right thing, the rest of the year might happen a little easier. Second, the importance of making sure that all of the activities developed were fun for stream keepers to implement. And finally, the importance that joy brings to whatever activity compliance requires. It's so easy to imagine looking over and seeing your neighbor having fun and think, I want to play at that too.